you want to tell us about yourself?
Staff Sergeant Adam Clark. I'm from 5th Special Forces Group at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and just got home from Iraq about 2 months ago. So, it's great to be here today.
Okay, how long have you served in Iraq?
I've been to Iraq for about a year, approximately total time. We've also done JSETs to other countries around the world where we go and we train their special forces. We kind of teach them. It's more of like a foreign relations type thing. We'll go there and our State Department kind of sets it up where we go and we represent and work with their either internal police force or their security forces, and we teach them certain ways to clear a building or how to go find bad guys and how to take care of certain situations without getting any casualties at all. So,
did you see a lot of combat, a lot of action while you were in Iraq?
We saw a little bit. I think when it comes to the amount, I think that changes from person to person, because I think one round crossing your path is one too many. We have seen a little bit, but nothing that other guys have seen. A lot of guys have seen some crazy combat. Things are crazy. Combat is crazy, and just to make it home from that is pretty amazing.
Work with the locals to help fight terrorism over there. Were they not very receptive to you? What was the reception that you found with the local Iraqis?
I think it's tough whenever you go into a country, and when you go over there, and when we go through the Q course, we are guerrilla warfare experts. That's what we learn the whole time. So the whole thing is think outside the box. So when we go into a country, we can't think like Americans. We have to think, like the local population. So we have to think, what's it like to have people in your country kind of helping you run things? How are they looking? How are they perceiving us? So it's very important to us when we go and meet with a local sheik or Mukhtar in a town. We sit down and we talk to them. Sometimes we won't talk about anything that pertains to the mission in Iraq. We're there to build relationships. Hearts and minds, that's what we're always saying, hearts and minds. We're after their hearts and minds because we want them to see that we genuinely care. And American soldiers genuinely care about what's going on over there. They're not held in the dark about the mission. Everyone knows the mission because everyone's there to accomplish the mission. If someone doesn't know the mission, it's not getting accomplished properly. So it's very important to us that when we go into a village, we talk to the proper people and we let them know, hey, we're here to help. And that's what we do. One of the missions that we do is not all just combat. We'll go into a village and we'll help them build a school. We'll get the funds available. We'll hire contractors in the local village. And that's part of our mission is building that relationship because we're leaving. And then there's another team that's going to come in. So if we do anything that would hurt that kind of relationship, that hurts the whole mission from start to finish. Yeah, it's funny, the biggest tool that I had over there to break the barrier was my camera. I'd bring my camera and I'd show pictures of my own family and show like, hey, I am human just like you. And you have to understand where they're coming from. Their villages are bombed out. A lot of warfare and conflict has happened in their villages. So knowing that and going in there, well, I can't go in there and be, the big bad American that a lot of people think we can be, but I'm there to build. I'm there to build a friendship. I'm there for America to be friends with anyone in another country that we've had conflict with. We're trying to build those. I've always wanted to serve my country, and one day I woke up, the alarm clock went off, I got dressed, and I went straight to the recruiter. I said I want to go to combat. There were 2 wars going on at the time, and as a young man in the country, I just felt like I have to go serve. There are too many guys that are going over there and serving, and I need to be a part of this. So I went in right at the recruiter's office and I sat down and I said, I want to go to Iraq or Afghanistan right now. And I wanted to join infantry, but he said, why don't you take a look at this, the SF route. And it's called the 18 X-ray program. And like I was telling the students earlier, if you score high enough on a certain aptitude test and a certain physical test, you can move on and they'll give you a shot to try out for Special Forces. Well, I went through basic training. Straight from basic training, I went into airborne school, and I just wanted to try the hardest thing that the Army had to offer at the time. I played football, I wrestled, I played rugby in college, I played football in college. I just physical. I love a challenge, and a 2-year course and an attrition rate of like 95%. I think I started the course off with about 550 people and graduated with 30. And just being out in the woods and hiking and just like all that stuff that I love to do in my personal life. Here was an opportunity to take 2 years and train up and do it for a profession. And we pride ourselves on being professional soldiers. So when I was going through the Q course, it only solidified my decision of doing this by seeing the instructors and seeing the professionalism of these guys and seeing their willingness to learn about a culture. It's not. We always talk about the Q course as more of a university type learning. because we call it big boy rules. You show up at selection, they're not in your face, they're not making you do push-ups. They want to see how you're going to react without being told what to do, and that was my kind of atmosphere. I wanted to go somewhere where I could learn on my own standards, but where I was challenging myself, and I don't have someone in my face all the time. I think it's very hard to gauge a situation a year out. It's very hard to look at Iraq and say, this is what's going to happen in a year. Our leaders of our country, they make the best decisions that they can make at that time for long-term projections. They give projections because you have to set goals. Are your goals always going to be met? No. But you have to adjust. And when you get to a point, you have to say to yourself, all right, do we need a little bit more time? Or can we shorten this up a little bit? And you have to make that decision once you get there. I think currently the country is on a very good path. They have a very good political system in place. It just takes time. This is a new system for a new country. They're not used to this. They're used to a tyrant as a leader. Now they have a system where they have the choice. And I think for a population to have a choice after so long of not having a choice, it's very difficult for them to realize, like, hey, I can make a difference. I can go out and make a difference. I don't have to have a lot of money. I don't have to have a lot of power. I don't have to have a lot of manpower behind me. I can just go out and vote. And I think it's very different.
What would you say the hardest thing for you while you were over there would be?
That's a good question. I think the hardest thing is just being away from family. I think we do this for family. We do this for our country. And when you look at a picture and you see the reasons why you're deployed, it's hard. It's hard. I think when you lose somebody, or when you live out of your bag, or when you sleep on the ground for months at a time, it's part of the job. You volunteered, and that's the beauty about our Army is I volunteered to do that so no one else would have to. And there's people that are going to be after me that are going to volunteer to do the same thing. And plus, when you're doing those things, you're with your friends. I think it's hard for my family sometimes when we do lose somebody, or we have to live a certain way. Like I have my friends and my buddies that we work together and we're supporting each other. And it's just difficult to kind of look at pictures sometimes and think about home, and this is why I do it. Because you can always make a joke out of living in a foxhole for a while, and you can always because everyone understands that atmosphere, especially when you lose somebody. You can kind of look at each other and know that it's okay. It's hard to talk about when you come home, and I think it's hard for a family to understand why it's hard to talk about. It's just one of those things that I know I told my mother a long time ago, like, if I don't have to talk about it or you don't hear what I'm doing over there, I'm doing my job.